Mark and his family have been living under the same roof for over 2 decades. And now that 2 of his daughters are off to college, with the youngest following next year, it's time to make some necessary renovations, and that means a total roof makeover.
We've been at this home for 21 years, and it's a really special place for us. Our kids grew up here. Since my youngest daughter was, 1 year old is when we moved into this house. And it's just been a special place that's filled with memories, and we plan on being here for a long time to come. Our house was built in 1997, and obviously through the years we've had many storms come by. In particular, Hurricane Wilma did a real number on our roof, and we were having our house repaired then at that point from some of the hurricane damage. And since that time, there's been a couple of times where it's popped up and there's been leaks in certain areas of the home. And that's gotten progressively worse over the last few years, to the point where literally I've walked in a couple of times and there's been raining in my butler's pantry and a few of the other areas of the house, and all of a sudden, we're pulling out buckets and stuff because there's leaks that are coming inside the home.
With leaks and broken shingles, it's time to bring in the professionals. Jason Blair from Aastro Roofing knows when it's time to repair and when it's time to replace.
Most people don't realize that a roof is probably the biggest investment you're going to make in your property, and potentially outside of buying a house. So the roof actually protects everything underneath it. I would say it's very important to get a roofing contractor, a certified licensed roofing contractor that's reputable, to come out to your property, inspect your roof before you do any interior renovations. So the last thing you want to do is spend thousands of dollars renovating the interior of your home and then find out you have a leak, and you're going to have to redo some of that work and potentially spend thousands of dollars fixing your roof as well. So some of the signs that may show you need a new roof would be roofing debris laying in your yard, maybe roofing debris or granule surface material laying at the bottom of your downspouts. Usually after a storm, you want to look for some type of roof damage. Any type of high wind situation, you would definitely want to look for wind damage. And especially in South Florida, roofs that last a long time in other parts of the country typically aren't going to last that long in South Florida just because of the weather. And insurance also becomes a problem because insurance companies want you to switch your roof out roughly about every 20 years. So shingle roof systems can last 40, 50 years in other parts of the country. Usually we say it's about a 30-year lifespan here in Florida. Tile roofs can go 20 to 30 years. We always suggest after 20 years before repairing a tile roof, you should consider replacing. And metal roof, kind of that same time frame, 20 to 30 years. When researching a roofing company, I would definitely suggest to not just stop at the first page of Google. A lot of people just Google, roofing company near me, something to that effect, a nice keyword, my roof leaks, how do I fix it? I always say, if you're considering hiring a roofing company, some of the things you should consider other than what's written online is maybe visit the roofing company's place of business. Research everything, not just the good stuff, but try to dig up dirt on the roofing company. Look, if roofing companies are big and they do a lot of work, there's bound to be a little bit of dirt. But what we want to see is how a roofing company reacts to negative reviews by a customer. For us to be 4-star rated or something like that, that might be fine for other roofing companies, but that to me means that 1 out of every 5 customers is not happy. A lot of homes in South Florida are in a homeowners association, which would require board approval for an aesthetic change. So if we're going to replace your roof, if you decide to replace your roof, then you will need approval from your homeowners association. It's typically a form that you have to fill out, and then we submit a sample of the tile that you're considering using, and they approve it, and then we submit it to the city for the permit process. Another thing that is kind of difficult in South Florida as opposed to the rest of the country is the permit process. Just because of the hurricanes and the codes that are put into place in South Florida, it's a little bit more stringent than everywhere else in the country, which drives up pricing a little bit, but it also, I think, puts a better product out to combat those wind events that we typically have a few times a year. Even outside of hurricanes, Florida typically sees high wind events at least a couple times a year.
What I'm most excited about is having our roof done is, first and foremost, is that the color that came with the roof when we first bought the house was not my favorite color. It's a green roof, And quite candidly is that the green roof limits us in our ability to paint the house very many colors. We're really relegated to yellow, or a form of yellow. And so I am really excited about the fact that it's going to beautify the home and give us lots of options to update and refresh the home. And then besides that, I'm excited about the fact that we won't have leaks waking up in the, there's a storm and next thing you know, you hear dripping in the house, and the protection from, the hurricanes in the future, to have a house that actually has a modernized roof that's less susceptible to, having more damage done in a storm.
So we originally met with Mark a few months back, and he was having issues with his roof leaking. He lives in a beautiful area in Boca Raton, Florida, beautiful home. So we came out, we found that some of his flashing was leaking and kind of an intricate, complicated area on his roof. His roof is more than 20 years old, so we sat down, we had a conversation about should we replace, should we fix it, what do you think we should do? Mark made the decision to go ahead and replace the roof because of the age. And he's got a beautiful house. He wants to protect the property, obviously protect it for the coming storm season. And what happened was he was having leaking coming in, so when it rained, it was basically raining in his house. The city of Boca Raton is one of the more difficult municipalities to traverse as far as the permitting and inspection process goes. They're very stringent on their process, and it's kind of unique to the rest of the area. So they don't just let anybody come in and do work. And even the products that we use here have to be very specific products that have passed engineering and certain testing. So they have to go through special testing to be able to use products in the city of Boca Raton.
We're so excited to start this project. But first, we've got to narrow down the design. Coming up, we'll choose colors and style. Welcome back. Before the break, we met Mark, a homeowner who's ready for a new roof. Crown Tile has stepped in with tons of tile colors and options for him to choose from.
The first part of the process of picking the kind of roof that we wanted was also looking at what was the roof that would fit our neighborhood, and also the motif of our particular house, right? The style of our house. We're a Mediterranean home, so we didn't want to move too far away from that, but we wanted to modernize kind of the look of the house. So we went through a brochure and got some ideas of things that we liked. From that point, he suggested that we actually order some samples of the tile, and that way we could actually, instead of looking at it in a photo, actually see the tile. So we got a sampling of the tile that came in. We got a chance to take that tile and kind of walk around our neighborhood a little bit and see other homes that had similar types of roofs and see how that tile married up when you looked at it actually on a roof itself.
Some of the roofing materials that homeowners have here in the state of Florida, specifically South Florida, would be ranging from concrete roof tile, clay roof tile, shingles, and metal. Primarily here in the state of Florida, you're going to see more of a concrete roof tile and a clay roof tile specific to the South. I think you see this specific profile in South Florida because people are looking for that Mediterranean Spanish style look, and that's exactly what this particular tile fits, that look, whether that be clay or concrete. Ultimately, the barrel tile is what's very popular here in South Florida.
When it comes to picking out a tile, obviously I know I have several options. We have more of a Mediterranean style home, as you can see. And so how do I go through the selection process? What do you recommend?
Well, basically the thing that you're going to want to do is narrow down what colors that you're interested in. Okay. Obviously, Mediterranean can vary anywhere from the browns into the terracottas and the reds, just depending upon what the look you're going for is.
Okay.
You kind of just need to scale in relation to the color itself. And then once you have a color selected, then we would send out samples to you, and you would basically narrow down your selection based off of what we send to you.
Got it.
So there's different sizes. Ultimately, there's what's called a standard S tile, which is a larger barrel.
Okay.
And then there's what's called a mid-range tile, which is basically a double roll.
Okay.
And it's just a smaller tile. This is part of our Sanibel still. And
are these the smaller rolls tiles?
This would be the smaller roll tiles here.
Okay. And as we move into Sanibel, those are larger rolls, or no?
That's correct. That's
Got
correct.
it. So
Sanibel is going to be your more traditional S tile, the larger barrel.
Got it.
And this is going to be a smaller S tile, mainly meant for a house this size. I would say most people are going to go with a larger barrel just because it's a little more of a grand look to it. We do a lot of things that we feel like makes our product better in relation to where we're sourcing our materials from, our sand, our cement, our oxides, which is what gives it the color. We feel that it gives it a more vibrant color and a better look. Also lends itself to a better quality product at the end of the day as well. We also put a highly concentrated sealer over the top of the tile so that it helps protect the color of the tile that much longer.
Okay.
And it lends itself to a better looking tile when it's installed.
Now that Mark has chosen his tile and design, Aastro Roofing can begin the first phase of the project, tearing off the old roof.
Once we remove the underlayment, we can see the damage to the wood decking, the damage to the fascia, the wood trim, the siding and flashing areas. That's when we can understand exactly how much wood replacement that would be necessary to complete the job. It's probably one of our #1 issues when replacing a roof is communicating the wood replacement, because we don't know how much wood there may be to replace or how much bad wood there may exist in your home. So we're considering a standard amount typically. So roofing companies typically give you a certain amount of wood replacement included in their proposal, but we can never tell how much wood that there's actually going to be when we finish tearing off the roof.
It's time for the best part, installation. With the help of ABC Supply, we've gathered all the materials needed to start.
So the underlayment is very important just because, for one, it keeps your house waterproof, 100% waterproof. That's what keeps the water from coming into your property. The tile on top is really protecting that underlayment itself. So when we're choosing an underlayment, you want to make sure that you choose the right underlayment. The reason we chose Tag and Stick is because it's a premium style product. It's modified and it's synthesized so that it will stand up to the test of time what we're looking for. This is a great product. It has a 30-year guarantee. It has great exposure rating. While we're waiting for tile, for instance, if we have a storm and we have to wait 6 months, for instance, for tile, Tag and Stick would be a good product because it stands up to that exposure rating. Also, as far as application wise, it's user friendly to install and it decreases the margin of error for our installers.
Coming up, the big reveal. We show Mark his beautiful new roof. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Aastro Roofing is putting on the last few tiles, which means it's almost time to show Mark his brand new roof.
All right, so let's check it out.
Okay.
You got your brand new crown Florida blended roof. Wow. So it's a 3-color blend. You can see the eave closure matches beautifully. Everything turned out really good. The mortar work looks nice.
This is just incredible. I mean, look at the beauty of this roof.
It's a complicated house, man. You have a big, beautiful house. I mean, it's a lot of ins and outs, a lot of intricacies involved with the roof itself. And to build this correctly is, it's not easy, and it can turn into a nightmare if you don't have the right guys out here. So I'm really glad that it turned out how we thought it was going to. And I'm glad you're happy. I mean, that's the main thing.
This is just incredible. I mean, when I look at this roof, it just changes the whole look of the house. Like, we obviously need to still paint the home and do some things there, but just by putting a new roof on it, almost looks like we painted the house and we did a bunch of new stuff,
well,
right?
You definitely increased the value tremendously, and your insurance premiums are definitely going to go down right away, so you start getting benefits from that. The roof is probably going to be a little bit more energy efficient because we vented it properly as well. And this is a 50-year roof. It'd be difficult to get that out of South Florida.
Right.
But realistically, to get somewhere between 30 and 40 years with proper roof maintenance and care, I think that's where you'll end up here.
And you guys knocked it out of the park on this, so thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate your team.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks a lot. Wow, this is incredible.
And just like that, Aastro Roofing, along with ABC Supply and Crown Tile, took this old broken roof and made it brand new. If you'd like more information or are looking for a roofing consultation, visit astroroofing.com or watch this segment again at designingspaces.tv.